beautiful people. Welcome or welcome back to Well with Mika, where we talk real wellness for your real life. I'm Mika, your cultural wellness ally, and today we are going to talk about something that's quietly shaping how we age and how we care for the people around us and the people that we love, okay? Because I was listening to a podcast a while ago, right? And it was a scientist. I'm so upset that I cannot remember her name right now, but she's an older woman and she was discussing how we talk to our loved ones when they're in that stage of life where they might seem frail, right? So we want to step in and help them. And she's like, just maybe pause. Don't tell them don't climb the stairs or don't carry those heavy bags, and maybe treat it more so like that's their everyday form of exercise. So, initially you're like, but I love them. I just want to help them. I can't let mommy do that, or I can't let granny do that, but when you really sit with it, then you realize that we might be accidentally training helplessness, not just in our parents, but maybe even in ourselves and in how we imagine aging. Now, let me just be clear up front. I'm talking about people who have the capacity and capability to move, right? That ability is a gift, it's a privilege that not everyone has. And if someone has a medical condition or limitation that genuinely prevents independent movement, that's a completely different story. This conversation is about those moments when someone can do something safely, but we don't even let them try. So here's the metaphor that I've been thinking about and sitting with. Capability is like a language. You use it regularly, you stay fluent. Then you stop practicing. Then one day you realize you just forgot the words, right? Movement, it works the same way. Independence is not something you either have or you lose overnight. It's something that you practice through everyday challenges, that keep your body and your mind engaged. When we remove all the challenge in the name of love or safety, we don't just make life easier. We are really slowly, quietly reducing opportunity. And it's not because the person cannot or we can't, but because they just stopped trying, or being invited to try. So, what the scientist was really discussing, it was not about being reckless, it was about talking in a way that's, keeping people fluent in the language of their own capability. Most of us, we've said things like, we've said certain things without even thinking, right? Like, no, 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 let me carry that, or you shouldn't be climbing those stairs, or just sit, I'll get it, or don't lift that, you'll hurt yourself. And look, I know I've said versions of these. I've told my sons to, do this, and in some ways with their grandparents. And yes, these comments, they feel caring, they are caring, right? But over time, they're sending this message that, look, I don't trust your body anymore, so probably you shouldn't either, But if we switch that, support will phrase it like this. Support will say, I'm here if you need me. You need the help, I'm here for you. But then overprotection now says you shouldn't even try that. So that's where we have to be careful, because most of us, we were taught that loving someone means making things easier for them. And of course, yes, there's some truth to that. However, sometimes loving someone also means letting things stay a little challenging on purpose, not dangerous, not reckless, just really challenging enough to keep confidence, coordination, and capability alive, Especially when I think about, Black families, ethnic families in particular, this conversation, it runs deep because there's usually that strong respect for elders. I've heard that it's changing. Hopefully, we keep it. But usually there's a strong respect for elders, strong caregiving instincts, and very real fear around illness, around falls and medical trauma. And that fear makes sense because, our history with the healthcare system has not always been kind. We already know. And many of us have seen loved ones decline quickly once the independence is lost. But sometimes, without meaning to, that protection turns into discouraging movement and limiting independence and equating aging with fragility. And, this doesn't happen because we don't value our elders. It happens because we value them so much that we're terrified of anything going wrong. But what if we could really honor them, respect them by trusting their bodies to tell them what they can and can't handle, and staying close enough to help, but far enough back to let them try? Research, it consistently shows us that there's the simple truth: the more you do, the more you can do, right? Studies on functional training, which is just movement that mirrors everyday life, show improvements in balance, walking speed, strength, and the ability to perform daily tasks in older adults. So physical activity has also been linked to better cognitive function, meaning movement supports your mind, not just your body. So think about everyday movements, right? You're climbing stairs, which is going to support your leg strength and your balance. Carrying groceries supports grip strength and coordination. Standing from a chair without pulling up, that supports your power and mobility. So these aren't just chores, they're what keep people capable of living independently on their own terms. So avoiding all effort, it doesn't protect your body. It really weakens it. You want safe, intentional challenge to preserve independence. It's like we don't brace healthy ankles just in case. We strengthen them so that, they don't fail. And aging bodies deserve that same kind of respect. Now, I also want us to turn the mirror toward ourselves. Oh, girl, look in the mirror. I want you to ask yourself, how do I talk about aging in front of my kids? Do I joke about being old in my 40s, grown, getting up from the floor and say, oh gosh, I'm too old for this. I can't do this no more, Do you avoid things now that you could still do? Not because you can't do it, but because you decided, I'm past that age. I shouldn't be doing that. Ask yourself, am I rehearsing a future I don't actually want? Every time we narrate aging as inevitable decline, our nervous system takes note. We're practicing the script we will live into. And yes, there are changes that are taking place as we age, but are we speeding up this process and putting extra on this process that doesn't even need to be there? Because the truth is, how we treat our parents today is often how we're training ourselves to age tomorrow. If we expect fragility, fear, and limitation, that's what we'll prepare for. But if we expect adaptation, capability, and continued engagement, we really create a very different future. So, what is this going to look like day to day? Instead of, don't walk up the stairs, that's dangerous. Maybe you could try. If you climb stairs safely, just please take your time, hold on to the rail, okay? Maybe instead of, let me carry all your bags, how about carry what feels comfy for you? If that feels good to you, all good. I got you if you need help, all right? If it's a little bit too much, I could carry the extra one. Because the goal isn't to force exercise or to create risk. You want to just encourage the meaningful movement, the kind that adds up to resilience and independence over time. And for ourselves, start noticing when you opting out of something, when you can actually do it because you just decided you're too old. No, challenge that story and stay fluent. And I even think about it in simple, small things that happen. Like if my kids want to just grab all the bags for me, yes, I do want them to be aware that they should help, but I also don't want to not lift heavy things and carry heavy things because I'm still very capable. And I know that every time I do that, I'm strengthening myself. So, you have to find that balance between accepting help and encouraging healthy behaviors in your children, but yet you still keep strong and independent and use your capabilities, use your gift of movement. So, this isn't about calling anybody out. It's really about calling us all in. We're all navigating the tension between protection and empowerment, doing the best that we can with the love and fear that we balance and that we carry. So, again, the ability to move, it is a gift not everyone has. Look, I suffer from RA. That is constantly on my mind if one day I won't be able to move. So, this conversation is really for moments when someone can do something safely and we're removing the opportunity out of fear or habit. We really want to keep loving on each other in a way that allows us to stay independent. which doesn't always mean making things easier. It might mean letting them stay challenged purposefully, safely, meaningfully. Let them move. You move yourself, letting them try, letting them stay fluent in the language of capability, because, independence isn't just a state, it's really a practice. Again, I have to say it, it's a practice, and it's one that we can protect together. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me today on this episode of Well with Mika. I hope that this episode resonated with you. Share it with someone navigating aging, you know, their own or someone else that they love. Just please share it out. Tell me what you're struggling with, or if you have a loved one that you're thinking about, maybe changing how you communicate with them and allowing them to really stay in their independence. So until next time, take care of your body, honor your elders, and remember, capability is a language. Keep speaking it. And as always, happy healthing. Peace.